here and welcome back to the channel, my fellow drifting maniacs. In today's video I'm going to be talking you through the top 5 things I love and hate about my Arrma Felony, although the hate list is reasonably small on there. There are a few things you do need to know about when considering buying one of these Arrma Felonies. So let me get the camera now, let's get straight down to it, talk you through those top 5. Well, number 1 of the things that I love and hate about the Arrma Felony in equal proportion actually is the tyres, or more specifically the rear tyres. Now these rears are about 1 centimetre wider than the Arrma Infraction ones are, which means that just about nothing will be able to outdrag an Arrma Felony success. The grip these things have got on a fresh set is just crazy. With the stock settings on the ESC, you can just launch the thing off the line. Very little is going to get close to touching the car with these tyres on. So that is the one thing I love about them, the additional grip on there. Downside to these tyres, they've proved extremely hard to get hold of. The first pair I've got have finally arrived. Why do I hate the tyres? I don't hate the tyres per se. What I do hate is the fact I put a set of these tyres on order as soon as the part number for the rear tyres were released. Before I'd even put the car on order, I ordered the rear tyres. How long did this first set take to arrive after the car? 5 weeks. So if I'd fried this rear set of tyres, as one user did do on Facebook, I would have then had to wait 5 weeks before using the car again. Arrma, Horizon, COVID or not, that has to change. Somebody in the supply chain needs shooting for that, because that should not happen. You buy a $650 car and you have to wait 5 weeks before you can run it again. If you fried the tyres the first time out, sorry, anybody out there, justify to me how that's acceptable, because it ain't, and you know what I'm saying. So the tyres, they are definitely a love it and hate it issue on this car. Also, as one of my friends who is an engineer has pointed out, the rears will predictably wear out faster on this car than the front tyres will do. However, you've got different diffs both at the front and the rear to take into account. These tyres are nearly 1 centimetre higher at the rear than the front tyres are. But if these rear tyres are wearing faster and decreasing in diameter faster than the fronts are, you're going to begin to get an imbalance on the car due to the different diffs both front and rear. I can see why they put different diff ratios in there, but as my friend has pointed out, if these tyres wear faster at the rear, being higher, you are going to have some handling issues. That is maybe a minor issue as opposed to a complaint, but it's something, one of those things that Richie would say you should be aware of when buying this car. Well, at number 2, it's the stock ESC overheating. I had 2 of the original Arrma Infractions. Both of the ESCs were burnt out within 2 weeks, just with the stock gearing on the car. So the ESC overheating an original Arrma Infraction was clearly an issue. In my first 2 weeks of ownership with the Arrma Felony, the ESC had the same issue, began to overheat. Horizon Hobby agreed with me and sent a new ESC out, albeit they sent a 160 amp one out. Thank you very much, Horizon, very glad for that, but that was because all of the 150 amp ESCs were out of stock. You'd query why the original 150 amp ESCs were out of stock, but looking around on Facebook, quite a few people were having the same issue with me. It was a problem on the original Arrma Infraction, so why fit a similar 150 amp ESC? Now I'm happy to say with the 160 amp ESC in here, which is actually ATES capable, this thing will run battery packs back to back without any issues, no sign of overheating whatsoever. So Arrma, Horizon, why not think about fitting this 160 amp ESC to maybe the Arrma Felony V2? It would definitely be a good idea, and do not tell me that is not going to save you money on warranty overheating issues. And the first of the points I'd absolutely love about this car is the top speed. Arrma Infraction V1, which it's loosely based upon, was maybe good for around 80-85 miles an hour on it with the optional pinion fitted to it. This, when I fitted the optional pinion to it on 6S, hit 98 miles an hour. This thing is so much faster at the top end than compared to an Arrma Infraction. It is untrue, and a huge shout out goes to whoever in the design team at Arrma up the gear ratio on this car. I know the gear ratio on the Arrma Infraction V2 has also been increased, because I've seen RC Innovation run his at 92 miles an hour. But this very Arrma Felony ran at 98 miles an hour, like you can see, in this clip. And here we are riding on board my Arrma Felony Success BLX on its 98-mile-an-hour maiden run. So that huge increase in top speed, bear in mind they just quote this at 80 miles an hour, is one of the things I absolutely love about this car, and it is super stable at speed, predominantly due to point number 4 that I love about the car, which is the thing you're looking at right now, which is the body of the car. A few features which if you're not totally familiar with the car or you're thinking about getting one of these, I shall explain, I shall talk about. Okay, first of all, you appear to have what appears to be a grab handle which you can lift the whole car up with under here. But it's more than just that, because obviously any air coming in under the car is then blowing out through this gap at the back here, which reduces the risk of air buildup inside the car, causing it to blow over at speed. So I'm loving that air coming out of there. Not only that, very clever feature there is that this can then come straight into the rear wing, the airflow there, which is going to push that down so the back is going to grip even more at high speed. And speaking of that rear wing, this is a full 2 inches wider than that found on the rear wing of an Arrma Infraction on there. So you get even more downforce at the back of this car, but bear in mind this is doing 98 miles an hour compared with maybe 80, 85 on the original Arrma Infraction. That downforce is important, shows somebody at Arrma very clearly thought about that. And this rear wing is fully adjustable, so you can decrease the drag on it by cutting it down if you so wish. But that's not the only feature I'm loving about the body. Well, the fact is you can dramatically alter the appearance of the car. You could fit like a set of Holley injectors on the front on here. You can fit a supercharger on the front rather than a twin turbo setup that I've got on here. So you can dramatically alter the appearance of the car. I've gone for this predominantly to keep the airflow as smooth as possible when going over the car. So that is one nice feature. It's not the only thing I love about this body though. Well, the next thing I love about the body isn't the top of it. It's the underside of it. You've got a basically completely flush aero where the body actually clips on the inside of the chassis on here, meaning you're not getting any airflow coming in under the sides of the body. Again, that helps greatly with the reducing the air buildup and preventing the car blowing over at speed. So key thing for me about the body is that flush aero fit underneath Tweed with the aero at the back. Absolutely outstanding feature. It's like the Arrma I've had, like somebody from F1 working on the underside of the car. Anybody that knows anything about aerodynamics will understand that if you've got good airflow underneath the car will be almost be sucked to the ground rather than the air pressure building up and blowing the thing over. Absolutely outstanding design when it comes to the body. And the last thing that I kind of love and hate about the Arrma Felony is the braking. If you've watched this channel for any length of time, you will know I love good brakes on a car, particularly for beginners. There can be the difference between you having a great day with your first RC car or it being absolutely ruined when the thing just drifts on and smashes into a wall. Now, first of all, I'll get the rant out of the way. The brakes on this car as stock, sorry, they are not strong enough. They weren't strong enough on the Arrma Infraction originally, nor are they on the Felony straight out of the box. One of my top videos was actually about what's the number one thing you should do with your Arrma Infraction, and it's adjust the brakes. Let me talk you through just what I mean, show you what the problem is, why I hate it, and then show you the solution. Well, on the new transmitter on the Arrma Felony, you can adjust the brake rate from the transmitter, so you can have it down to 0, you can whack it up to 100%. Absolutely outstanding feature. So you're thinking, you've got this set on 100%, so the car's going to brake at 100%, right? No, because the braking on the ESC is set at around 70 to 75%. So you've got 100% of 75% on here. So the car braking, to my mind, should be upped on the ESC to 100%. So you can therefore control 100% of the braking on here, because the standard, the setup with the car, you are only controlling 75% of the braking from the transmitter, because it's not set on 100% stock out the box. Why? I would ask. When you can adjust the braking from the transmitter, would that not be set on 100%? You're giving people a choice here, but you're removing 25% of that choice on here. Hope that makes sense. this is a $650 car, plus the batteries, etc. That 25% difference could see you slamming into a wall and causing a couple of $100 worth of damage to the front of the car. So you might sense from the annoyance in my voice, I don't want to see people making horrible mistakes. This thing, to my mind, should be set at 100% from the factory. Therefore, if you want 75% braking, you could back it off on this dial here. That said, with the ESC set on 100%, the brakes are absolutely outstanding. The car can have outstandingly good brakes. Why aren't they set like that, a standard stock out the box? Sorry for sounding slightly annoyed, but I just do not want to see people making horrible mistakes thinking I'll brake now and then slamming on into a curb right in the front end of the car off. That's just plain crazy to my mind. Would you sell a road car and just give it like 75% braking? Of course you wouldn't. So why isn't this car set at 100%? Rest my case. So there we have it. That's the top 5 things I love and hate about the Arrma Felony. There is a lot to love about this car, but I felt those things people should know about potentially before buying one. Most of the issues relatively easy to sort out. I do think this needs a beefier speed controller on here, because the warranty claims for these things, if they've run out of 150 amp ESCs at Horizon Hobby, then more than a few people have had the same issue as I had with this car. Warranty claims Horizon Hobby, that's got to be costing you a lot of bucks, which with a higher spec ESC put on the front end of this car would be completely avoided to my mind. Likewise, the braking, that is so simple for somebody to adjust at the factory. But hopefully this video hasn't come across as a rant at Horizon Hobby or Arrma. They're just 5 things that I think people should know about when considering buying the Arrma Felony, which I would highly, highly recommend purchasing. It was one of the most fun cars I've had to drive. But the tyres, goodness sake, get some more tyres in stock. It's driving people crazy, folks. Anyway, hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and as ever, stay safe. Well, thumbs up if you like this video, guys. Post any comments you might have in the comment section below the video, and hit the circle below to subscribe. And if you do hit the circle, don't forget to hit the bell.